baseball not always the best team wins, right? You got to still love to get done.
Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios. We have a YBMcast special edition. I have with me Mr. Dave Wiggins, RBC, head coach over at Principia. Going to talk with us about the upcoming playoffs. Districts right around the corner. Dave, always a pleasure, my friend.
Always a pleasure being on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. As always, YBMcast powered by Game 7 Baseball. Game7baseball.com. We're going to be out with Game 7 Baseball all summer long. Looking forward to some fun stuff, so make sure you check out the schedule. We keep you up to speed. Dave Wiggins calling in on the Prime Sports call link. Our good friends over at Prime Sports. If you're looking for some gear, whatever you need to get your day game ready, they got it. All right, here we go. We're going to start in Class 1. Dave and I are self-proclaimed novices when it comes to Class 1, 2, and 3. And honestly, that's just the way it is. I've watched it. I look in peripheral. We're going to break this down. We're trying to get better. And hopefully, in the future with Youth Baseball Midwest, we'll be able to get a little more information when it comes to the classes, and I think that's the goal, right? You always got to work to get better.
Absolutely. Yep, we're always striving to be better.
I want to get your thoughts real quick on when you come into postseason play. As a coach, what are you talking to your team about, Dave?
We had a film session yesterday in our character lab, and we went over our last couple games, and we made some pretty boneheaded mental mistakes in one of those two games that we had to address. Just nothing that really requires any sort of talent or ability, but just focus, mental acuity, understanding the game type things. And after that, I kind of brought them all up and said, our one singular focus is the opponent ahead on Saturday. Bayless High School is who we play in our first round. Said, sure, we can look ahead beyond them to Westminster, who's the class of that district. And, we can get excited about getting the opportunity to play Westminster, but we don't get that opportunity if we don't focus on Bayless. And something my staff and I do a really good job of is having a good picture of who our opponent is, knowing who their impact players are, understanding some of those guys' swings, where they hit the baseball, getting charts on them. And, I challenge my kids. I want you guys to know as much about Bayless as we do. It's one team. I'm not asking you to know about all of our regular season opponents, but, you have access to Game Changer. Get on Game Changer, look at their numbers, look at who you think their 2, 3, 4 hitters are. Get on STL today, check, find out as much about them as you can so that it's not just your coaching staff that's going into the game prepared, but it's the whole team. We've had issues where our outfielders are playing deeper for certain hitters than we want. And, we're calling pitches. We're setting our infield defense. We got to set our outfield defense. Some of those things slip through the cracks if it's just the staff that understands the team they're playing. So just asking our players to, elevate their understanding or their level of understanding of who it is they're about to play and really be focused on that and that alone. How do we go out and beat the Bayless Broncos? How do we know as much about them as we can? Because we don't play them in the regular season, right? We don't play anybody they play outside of Metro. So it's right now there's a lot of unknown there. And, when we were at Webster, there was a ton of unknown when we went to the Final Four about Willard, and Kearney. We knew a little bit about Zumwalt South, but not knowing your opponent, and it's unacceptable in this day and age. There's too much information out there. There's too many ways to find out who it is you're about to play and know as much about them as possible. So just having that singular focus, right? Let's go one game at a time. We've got to win the first game. We're going to do everything we can to win that first game, and then we can talk about the next one.
Let's jump into this. We got started here. We're going to give you a little bit of look here. Class 1 last year, St. Elizabeth took the state championship 5-2 after an epic semifinal with Oran. Those two teams have been beating up on each other for the last 8 years, trading championships. That went to extra innings, and St. Elizabeth won by a run. Then they beat Faith Christian Academy. Faith Christian Academy is no longer in Class 1. They'll be in Class 2, and they're going to have a shot when we get to talking about that because the championship factor. Oran third place. Wheatland also there in the Final Four. And we will see if these teams are looking to jump to that next level. So let's get into this a little bit. District 1 and Class 1, Cooter. Now, I know where Cooter is in Missouri. It's in southeast Missouri. 19-8 on the season. And you can see their schedule. Scott County Central, Marmaduke, Arkansas. I never heard of Marmaduke, Arkansas.
That's a comic, right?
Yeah, right?
A
That's
dog?
all I know.
Yeah,
That's what I know.
That's all I know, too.
I love it. I love it. And, you can tell how far south these guys are. Look at this. Arkansas, Illinois, Oklahoma. Well, that's the Mickey Mantle. They traveled quite a bit there. Arcadia Valley, Charleston, Gideon, Clarkston. I guess that's Pigot. Otherwise, Piggott. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Piggott because you have two T's.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was one T, it would be Pigot.
Bay, Arkansas, South Pemiscot. Then you see them get in. They lost to Chaffee 12-4. Chaffee's really good. They're one of their losses to Scott City. Advance has always been a pretty solid team down there, 13-6. So they got some pretty decent wins. Now there's the one. Look at this record here. We're going to talk about Scott City. That's 30-1, Dave.
Wow. That. Jeez.
Oh, we'll talk about Scott City. I think they're on a mission. They lost to Scott City 16-5, but hey, Chaffee lost to Scott City 12-0. And, so I don't think that's anything. So Cooter looks like the class of that district there, folks, with South Pemiscot, who they've played and beaten already, just under 500 as the 2 seed, 9-13. I think, and this is where, anything can happen in districts, but it looks like Cooter has, they have the bye and the upper hand in District 1. In District 2, there's Advance, as we saw that Cooter played Advance, all these teams here down in that area. This is the district that's interesting to me, and I know a little bit more about. Leopold, we met a young man in our winter workout tour. Plays for the Jackson Tribe, Inevitable A's, all that's they're kind of one group now down there in Jackson, Missouri. That club there in the summer. They're the Jackson Tribe for 9-14, Inevitable A's 15 on up, and Leopold's had a pretty solid season. Bell City, and then you still, they're Oran right back at it. If you look at Oran, they were only 7-9. They only played, 16 games this season. They lost their big player, the big bop, the big bat in Ryland Mills, drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. Kind of shows you where the talent level. They still have some talent, but a lot younger, and they're, losing to Scott City, losing to Bell City, losing to Chaffee. They lost to Advance. So some of the teams that we're seeing here, even though they're the 2 seed, that's going to be tough on them, I think. Advance, the number 1 seed, 13-6. Saxony Lutheran, that's a good win there. That's a Class 3 school, I believe Saxony Lutheran is, and they've had a good season, 16-4. So that's a good win. They've beat Cooter already, 8-3. Lost to Portageville, good quality Class 2 school. They were, I think, in the Final Four last year as well. So when you start looking at wins, Meadow Heights 13-7, that's Class 2. So when you start looking at wins, Advance has some pretty good, pretty solid wins under their belt, Dave.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Bell City, the 3 seed, 9-7. So you have a little more, I think, competitive balance in this district. Just looking at wins and losses, right?
For sure.
They've got Risco. I've never heard of Risco. Have you?
No. Well, it looks like they beat Oran 2-0.
Yes, they did. Lost to Portageville. They've got lost to Chaffee, lost to Advance there. Bloomfield, Woodland. So it'll be interesting to see. They've got their first game. That starts as we're recording this, folks. Scott County Central, that's today.
Does that say 0-16? Next to Scott County Central?
Yes, sir. Is that better? Can you see that better?
Okay, yeah. Okay. So that's a rough season, man.
Yes, it is. That's tough. And that's what you get sometimes in some of these lower classes.
Sure.
With these things. So that's where we're at. I think Advance or Oran, it's hard to say Oran can't come out of this bracket.
Don't count out Bell City. Bell City beat Oran, and they played Advance tough. So
there you go. So District 2 shapes up. I think that's going to be one of the tougher ones in the state. Just looking from the outside, what we can see just in that, and making an educated guess. Valley Catholic, definitely, they're back down. They've been playing above their pay grade for quite some time, I think, right?
Yes. Yep. They were Class 2 last year.
And Valley Catholic, another solid season at 21-9. Not as gaudy as their record. I think they were like 2 losses or something last year. It was crazy. In fact, you know what? It's easy to find out. 3 losses. Excuse me. And if you look, there's a win against Hillsboro. They lost to Orchard Farm. Look at the teams. They're playing Hillsboro, Orchard Farm, Festus. Played Willard, Mansfield, Fatima, St. Louis Patriots, Duchesne, Central, Park Hills. I mean, they're
playing a much larger school schedule than any of the Class 1s I've seen so far.
Yeah. So I really think that sets them. Look, a loss to DeSmet. They beat Farmington, beat St. Jen. They beat DeSoto. They beat all those schools down there. That's Class 5.
It is Class 5. Yep.
St.
Jen's. DeSmet was only a 4-3 loss, right?
In the Mineral Area Athletic Conference, they won it. They beat Farmington.
So it looks like they have a conference tournament, which is kind of cool.
I love that. I think Southeast Missouri and Mineral Area both have conference tournaments. I think that I agree. I love that. You got the regular season, the conference tournament. Doesn't happen in a lot of places, but I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
I do too.
And ended up beating West County down there. West County, one of the top teams in, I think they are Class 1. Let's click on it and find out. That's easy. Nope, Class 3.
Yep.
So that's a good win against a Class 3 school. Quality, 18-7. So Valley Catholic, I think, is a team to watch as far as a state championship contender, Dave. That's my personal.
I agree. Just given their schedule, who they've played, they're outside of just an outlier dude at one of these Class 1 schools. They've probably seen everything and more than what they're going to see from most of the competition at the Class 1 level. So
absolutely. You got South Iron here. They're getting ready to play them 13-6. Um, they beat Bismarck 12-2. Valley beat Viburnum 16-1. So 10-9 record on the season for Valley, and Oak Ridge, the 2 seed, 7-14. That's what's crazy to me sometimes. I'm not in these meetings, so I don't know, man. I don't know. It just cracks me up. And I understand certain amount of strength of schedule, and I don't know enough to say, oh yeah. So I'm going to leave that one there. Class District 4, North Shelby. Have no clue about North Shelby. Community, I believe.
That's where Credo coached, right?
Joel,
Yeah.
Yes. He come from that program, and, their first year without Coach Credo, 12-7. That's not bad.
Yeah. He left him in good hands, I assume.
Evidently, they got some good wins. Ellsbury, Von Farr, Madison, playing Herman, New Franklin. So they're getting around a little bit. Lost to Bowling Green 5-1. So that'll be interesting. So that's up north side there. Wellsville, Middleton, New Haven. Number 1 seed North Shelby, 13-3, played 16 games. And that sounds about right for a Class 1 school from what we've seen so far, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the arms. At Class 1, you probably don't have, 4 guys that could start you a game each week. So you gotta be smart about your schedule.
And you can see that you're playing 2 games a week, right?
Yeah.
And that, you got into here and played 3. That's pushing, probably, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's where we're at there. Class 4 or District 4, District 5, Atlanta. Now, I only know a little bit about this because in covering Missouri American Legion Baseball, this squad, Atlanta, has won the Division II championship. A lot of these kids play on that Legion team. It's really good. They play good brand of baseball, and here they are at 20-2. 22 games, pushed themselves pretty good. Beat Green City. Green City is down this year, but they've been a team that's been in the Final Four a couple of years, over the last 4 years, I think, a couple of times. La Plata, Putnam County, the Midgets. Gotta love that. Brashear with Novinger. That's all that Tri-County area that's north central Missouri, folks, where this is at. And they did play North Shelby and beat them 6-1. So common opponents and things of that nature. They're playing a Class 1 schedule, basically. And they're 20-2. They're playing around the area in which they live, and they're poised. Green City's right there. And Brashear, Novinger, let's see what the 2 seed has. They're 10-5. Not bad. They lost to Atlanta by 1 run right there.
Oh, there you go.
So
slugfest.
That ought to be a quality district championship if that ends up being that. So we'll see what happens. District 6, Sturgeon, Christian Fellowship, Senior High School, Prairie, Home, Bunselton, Northeast Cairo, Higbee, Jamestown. Let's see what Jamestown's got. 9-7 on the season. Sturgeon, the number 1 seed, 13-8. They played Tipton, beat Tipton, Class 2 school. They lost to Atlanta 2-1. Got waxed by Centralia. That's Class 3, number 1 team in our poll. 24-1 on the season. That doesn't surprise me. So, lost to Harrisburg 10-8. They got some good wins in there. So, seed number 1, should be pretty poised to take that district. Looks like it should be some close stuff here. Northwest Hughesville, New Franklin, Glasgow, Sweet Springs, Otterville, Pilot Grove. Northwest Hughesville, 12 and
those
13.
sound like courses on Mario Kart or something, man.
Oh, shoot. Oh, my goodness. If that's the case, let's take a look down here. Oh, it's against their JV. I was going to say, man,
Yeah.
if you beat Warrensburg's varsity squad, that's doing something.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
the JV squad's 21-5 at Warrensburg, but Hughesville beat them. That's a good Smith Cotton JV. So what that tells me a little bit here too is they're finding it tough to find opponents, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Lost to Lone Jack. They're playing.
That was a jamboree, though.
It was. That was.
Yeah.
Sorry. Panther Classic, that's Knob Noster. Their only loss in the Panther Classic was to Knob Noster. Got beat up pretty good. Crest Ridge beat Lincoln, and I think Lincoln is they're a number 1 seed in Class 2. Connor Spinagle, the head coach there, very familiar with him through some American Legion. Concordia, Sacred Heart loss. Otterville Smithton wins. Lost to North Callaway just 2-1. That's pretty good. That's Class 4 right there. And Stover. So they've got some pretty decent. Lost to Lincoln here again, but we'll see. Under 500, New Franklin over there, 11-6 in the 2 seed. We'll see what gives there. I don't know that much other than that about these teams. St. Elizabeth defending. I don't even like that terminology. There's no way to defend a state championship. You won the state championship. You're just trying to repeat as champions, right? That's just the way it works. They still have some guys on this team. Beat California 14-4. Got a win against Jamestown, Crocker. Beat Eugene. Beat Vienna. Beat Cape Central. So, Osage, Pembroke, New Bloomfield. That's all punching above your pay grade right there. And, got a 1-0 win against Licking. And we have them in our top 10 in Class 3. So, St. Elizabeth right there.
State contender for sure.
Right?
Yep.
Vienna in their 11-9. Got some good wins. Beat Iberia. Lost to Bell and Dixon. So, St. Elizabeth poised right on the edge of that one again. I'll tell you, folks. District 9. Norwood, have no clue, Dave.
Same.
11-10. Van Buren. Oh, that's towards the south. They got Van Buren. Mansfield, Plato, Kabul, Van Buren. So they're in that area. Beat Ava. Class 3. 1-0. 16-7. Wow. That's a good win. Been watching Ava a little bit. They just popped into our top 10 in Class 3. So Norwood, the number 1 seed there. That's about all we know. So we're not going to say anymore. Billings, they've been a pretty solid team down in Southwest Missouri for a little bit. 10-11. Got the 1 seed at 10-11. So Galena, 11-9. Wheaton, they've been around a little bit at 12-12. So this is a lot of teams right around 500. That'll be interesting. So it's probably going to be, I would say, somewhat competitive, and maybe you don't know who's coming out of that one. So we'll see what it gives. District 11, Wheatland finished in 4th place last year. in the state championship run. 20-9 again this year. Van Far, Liberal, Osceola, Max Creek, Climax, beating the teams they should beat if you're going to hunt for a title. Wins. They string wins together. You got to love that. Got some back-to-back losses, but for the most part, this team right here, Lighthouse Senior High, that is that's the homeschool team down there in Southwest Missouri, like the St. Louis Patriots. Okay. And as you can see, just in teams they've played against in Misha, they're 11-0. So they've beaten everybody they've played, and I'll tell you what, they've played a pretty decent schedule. I've seen them around playing quite a few teams. So Wheatland, in a big district. This looks like a Class 4 district right here, Class 5 actually. Got Halfway, Lockwood, Dadeville, Weeblo, Walnut Grove, and Hermitage. Dadeville, the number 2 seed, with a 15-10 record. So that one's going to be tough. District 11 is going to be tough. We're finishing out here. Appleton City, Lakeland, the number 2 seed at 12-10. Appleton City, 15-8, number 1 seed. When they've played up a little bit, they've had some trouble. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins in a row. They lost the last 2 to finish the season. That's a pretty good run, though. I'll take that. Appleton City, number 1 seed in District 12. Northland Christian. Here's a team. We spoke with the head coach last year. It's a new head coach this year. But same result, and I think this team is poised to put a championship run together. 26-8. They play. This has been the team. They're in their conference, but Faith Christian Academy last year finished second. Northland has had a tough time getting past Faith Christian Academy, and they're not in the same class this year. So there you go.
Well, I think something to note is when we're looking at these Class 1 teams, and it looks like Northland's played over 30 games.
Mm-hmm.
You look at was it Wheatland? They played 29 games. Clearly, these teams have significantly more depth than a lot of the other Class 1 teams to be able to sustain a schedule like that. So I think it's just easy to kind of pick them to advance just because of the overall depth that they have. It's significantly more than a lot of what a lot of other Class 1 teams have. So,
absolutely. They played in that WOW baseball tournament. The beat Moberly. I mean, that's a good win right there. St. Pius X. They're punching but they beat Stratford at Stratford. So, win against Oak Grove. Those are much bigger schools than them. So they've played a tough schedule. I think Northland Christian is going to be well-seeded. Wellington Napoleon, they've had a pretty good quality program, 13-8 there. They play a pretty good schedule. They've lost to Lone Jack and Carrollton, lost to Pleasant Hill. So, and they lost to Northland Christian 4-0 already. So that don't mean a whole lot, but it does mean that Northland has beat them. So a little more confidence there. Again, another one here in District 14, Meadville, Lynn County, DeKalb, 1 and 2 seed. Meadville with the 1 seed at 8-10. And that's what you're getting a lot in Class 1, folks. It's interesting. North Harrison, number 1 seed here in 15 at 8-2.
Wow, man.
10-game season, Dave.
10 games.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. We'll see how that turns out. And then District 16 is the last one. Rockport is another one I've popped up on the radar. 20-4, 24-game season, solid. lost to Faith Christian Academy, have beat West Platte. That's a good quality team right there. That's Class 4, if I'm not mistaken, and Marceline. You got a loss against Maysville, but beat Sacred Heart, Vienna. Lost to Mid Buchanan. That's Class 4 right there, folks. No, Class 3. Mid Buchanan's Class 3. But they've got some good wins. North Platte, 15-10. South Holt. They did beat Maysville, who's 21-7, so they come back and beat them. That shows some solid stuff. So I think Rockport is a team to watch there. And the number 2 seed is 11-2. And common opponent, they lost to Rockport, 5-1. So there you go. So that's Class 1. That's the districts. I hope we did make sense of that. Oh, mercy. I don't know. But we're jumping through that. We're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break. Well, no, that's it. Class 1. We'll break down Class 2 here shortly. Hope you enjoyed this one. If there's information or something, please leave in the comments. Go below and tell us, hey, you guys this is something you need to know about this team or this team or this team. Please do that in the comments. We would love to hear it. If you've got a pick for that district, if you're in that area, please tell us. We'd love to hear it. So for now, that's our walk through District 1. Appreciate Dave for being here, and subscribe. If you like what you see, please do so and be part of the conversation. Till next time, everybody have a great day in the Lord. We'll see you at the ballpark.